it's amazing. It's like after all this time and all these years, people really know very little about water. In respect, they just assume they've been drinking it for such a long time. Okay, I drank it when I was 4 years old, and now I'm 32 or 48 or whatever, and I'm still drinking this water. But they haven't looked at it or really realized what may be in that water. And what's really astounding to people, what would really amaze them, is that a lot of the protection that you and I have in reference to drinking water standards and water quality at different levels, most of that was put in place before World War II, before the atomic bomb. So all this legislation that you see to protect us was way back then. And there's very little has been done to really protect us against the modern or the chemical world that we're in, or our environment today. And a lot of people will drink the water and consume it and think that they're very well protected and it's perfectly fine, when it's really not. Uh, a lot of times, cities, we take a look and we think that we're going to be protected for this reason or that reason, and government would not allow us to drink this water if it was bad or if there was some problem with it. Well, there are a lot of things that come on up, and they have to allow you to drink the water because, for example, years back there was a concern for arsenic and arsenic levels in the water. At one time, and I'll just use a number of 50, and there was an allowable level of 50 parts per million was allowed in arsenic, and that was the standard. Well, as time has gone by, back maybe about 10 or 12 years ago, they tried to raise that level for arsenic to a level of 5. So all of a sudden you're going from 50 to 5. That's a huge, no matter where you're at, that's a huge numerical jump. And the targeted goal was 0. So all of a sudden they start looking into this one element, and you find out that there's a big problem there. And in trying to reduce that from 50 to 5 and make that a national standard, what would happen if they had done that is there'd be cities in about every community in every state that now could no longer deliver water because they did not fit that standard. They're at 7, they're at 8, they're at 10, they're at 49. So things have been, so basically this protection that we have, there's a modification going on with it, and there's because you have to, they don't want to have ghosts, they don't want to have cities that have been abandoned because they don't have water to furnish their population. So they softened that back up and raised it to 10. So now there are people that are drinking water that the targeted goal is 0 because it is so detrimental to your health. And the government tried to bring it down to 5, but in compromising and working with cities and communities, they had to raise it to 10. So there's a multitude of things like that. That's just one example. And I think people can understand that all of a sudden, water cannot come into my home and I live in a nice area. So there are compromises. And I think that's where you and I have to get a hold of things and understand about water and know what we can do, because it's your and our responsibility. Not necessarily, we have to take hold of that responsibility and not lay that entire responsibility on the government. They can only do so much. We have to now go forward and learn more about it. So I'm excited because, as I said, people don't know as much about it as they should, but people are knowing more and more about it every day because of the internet and other forms of communication. So people are quickly becoming more water conscious and making better decisions.